Hey everyone, welcome to another episode of Uncovering the Hidden Agendas, a video series dedicated to showing you all how Satan has put his hand of influence on just about every aspect of society. So today is part 2 of television. In the last episode I talked about adult TV shows, regular TV shows. This episode I'm going to focus on children's TV shows, children's cartoons, etc. Just as much as adult TV shows, mature TV shows, a lot of satanic and diabolical content is being slipped into kids' TV shows. For example, illuminati or satanic symbolism and imagery. See the all-seeing eye over here, yin-yang symbol over here. Occult practices. Homosexuality and bisexuality. You're starting to see this a lot more in kids' TV shows. And is it any wonder why elementary school kids and middle school kids are trying to figure out their gender, trying to figure out their sexuality? A big part of it is what they're watching, what they're intaking when they turn on the television. Ghosts. Casper the Friendly Ghost, right? At the end of the day, he's still a ghost, not of God. Hell and the devil. Quite a few instances of a devil-like figure in cartoons. And I especially want to note here the timeline, right? We're seeing black and white here. We're seeing very old cartoons. This has been the case for a long time, including the devil as a character or a high influence on kids' shows. Adult humor. Daffy Duck reading Play Duck instead of Playboy. Witchcraft and wizardry. You see that more and more, another growing trend. And dragons, right? Dragon Tales, Jane and the Dragon, American Dragon, Jake Long, and many others, right? All these contexts are friendly dragons. But at the end of the day, remember who the dragon is, who the dragon symbolizes. Satan. People worship the dragon because he had given authority to the beast, and they also worshiped the beast and asked, who is like the beast, who can wage war against it? Revelation 13:4. You see that as another big goal of kids' TV shows. Dragons, beasts, devil-like figures. They may appear as friendly, but there's a higher motive there. Trying to disguise the true identity of that character. So let's take a deeper look. I'm going to dive into 3 of the major television networks that specialize in kids shows and cartoons and go from there. The 3 are Nickelodeon, Disney Channel, and Cartoon Network. So we will look at each in turn, starting with Nickelodeon. So to start off, here's a quick evolution of the Nickelodeon logo. Let's pay close attention to that middle logo. Kind of looks like a splatter of paint, right? Well, this instance was captured, I guess, in like an interlude between commercials, you know? All-seeing eye, right there in plain sight. Bunch of eye symbolism and imagery in that one image. You see a lightning bolt as well. That's another satanic symbol. So just from this image alone, you can see that Nickelodeon has a very dark motive. So let's look at some of the TV shows that they have produced and streamed over the years. SpongeBob SquarePants. This is a big one. I wasn't allowed to watch the show as a kid, as well as many of the other shows I'm going to talk about today. And I had no idea of the true dark motives behind this show. Check it out. That's right. Eye symbolism. Been talking about that since episode 2. eye again.
Odkryciłam nawet tajną! Useksiłam duszę!
But wait, there is more.
Milošta, ne mogu da govorim s parama. Milošta!
Milošta? Ti! Tako je! To sam ja! Zlo su ti uklati hoćani! Ja ću ti ispuniti želju, ali će te koštati. Ugovor.
Da, moje besmrtna duša, već sam čuo taj go.
Soul to soul.
Se vidjet ćemo, ti si ga vredan, mi nismo. Šta to radite, idioti? Taj idi obred.
Proglašenje za predsjednika.
Ja? Predsjednik Koralova? Blesavko, ne Koralova, već nečeg boljeg. Boljeg?
Ti si predsjednik tajnog kraljevskog reda lože dobrih komšija.
Here come the Masons again. Yep, let's look at that pose again. There it is. Strikingly similar.
Ligni slove, jesi li kod kuće? La. Ligni slove. Ligni slove. Ligni slove, jesi li dobro?
A, da, nikad bolje.
Gospodine Dravo!
Zdravo, brate Rođo.
Masonic ideal. That's right. So, Squidward's a Freemason. Straight up. I'm going to expose another popular cartoon character later in this episode who is also a Freemason. But that's Squidward. Let's take a closer look at SpongeBob. First of all, his eyes. Very close similarity to the evil eye, another satanic symbol. If you look more at his face, his head, right? Believe it or not, 666 symbolism. First of all, the pores. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And I guess we avoid that other pore. So that's 1, 6. His eyelashes, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And his freckles, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 6, 6, 6. 3 groups of 6 on his body. Moving on to Jimmy Neutron, Boy Genius. This was a show from the early 2000s. And so for Jimmy Neutron, we're going to look at some excerpts from the movie that came out about Jimmy Neutron to really expose the character of Jimmy Neutron and this show as a whole. Jimmy undoubtedly endorses the theory of evolution, comparing humans to monkeys and saying their DNA only differs slightly. Check it out.
There is only one opening night. Think. Well, according to the Newville Journal of Medicine, monkeys are easily influenced by positive reinforcement, e.g. the giving of a banana. And since human and monkey DNA only differ by 2%, the same principle should work on our parents.
My dad's allergic to banana.
2%. Oh boy. Alright. Moving on to another scene, or series of scenes. The Yolkians, an alien civilization, worship Pultra, the god of wrath, which is a giant three-eyed chicken. They devise a plan to sacrifice all the town's parents to it.
There they are.
What are they doing?
What are those goofy-looking things on their heads? It looks like some kind of mind control device.
Mind control again.
Dad, it's me and Jimmy. Over here.
Jimmy's James, big fiery flying Jimmy. Hi, Jimmy. Some dream, huh? Attack of the big egg people. I think I've seen this one before.
No, Dad. You're wearing a mind control device. Take yours off. Hurry. Dad?
Intruder alert! Intruder alert!
Dad,
Big
no.
fire alert!
Jimmy, your dad's like a mind-controlled duck man.
Let's get out of here.
That's Pultra.
Crunchy time. There you go.
Oh no, let's see that again. Pushes a lever, and all the parents bow down to Pultra. Now his mind controlled device is making them do the chicken dance, right? So since their god is a chicken, pretty fitting. Twonkies, another occasional appearance in this show. Twonkies are an alien life form from the comet Twonkus 3. They are small, cute beings, but when they hear any soothing musical patterns, they evolve into stompers. And if a group of stompers is able to conglomerate, can become giant and extremely dangerous monsters called grumps. They are parodies of Mogwai's fictional species and gremlins from the movie series named Gremlins and Gremlins 2: The New Batch. So one of many shows that feature some kind of monster character. And this show also has its share of adult humor, as in this scene.
Copy my mom's handwriting for this late note.
Your show and tell, please.
How's it going? You know, I don't really do show and tell.
Oh!
Did you guys catch that? The girl liked him, admired him, trying to get his attention, takes his lollipop out of his mouth, puts it in her mouth. Oh. Should not be content for a kid's show. Moving on.
Copy my...
Doug. This was another show that came on Nickelodeon in the 2000s. So double whammy here, right? Dragon, aka Satan, right? And the fact that this dragon was born out of liver. We've talked about this in one of the video game episodes, I believe. The idea of spontaneous generation, the idea that living things can come from non-living things. Definitely an evolutionary theory being pushed into a children's show and subconsciously placed into their minds. I couldn't get this scene, but someone commented on the show saying, the squirrel going through the poster of Mayor White was the scariest thing in the whole series, especially when the facial expression in the poster changed. So again, another instance of spontaneous generation. Maggie and the Ferocious Beast. This came on Nick Jr., the younger form of Nickelodeon, I guess you could say. And the Ferocious Beast, right, appears ferocious but is actually gentle and kind. He is a yellow dog centaur, half bear, half pig, half elephant, and half cow, with big red removable spots and a human's head with 3 horns, according to Wikipedia. But again, beast, dragon, symbolizing Satan. Alright, so I connect this show to this verse in various ways. Check this out. Revelation 13, 1 and 2. The dragon stood on the shore of the sea, and I saw a beast coming out of the sea. Okay, it had 10 horns and 7 heads, with 10 crowns on its horns, and on each head a blasphemous name. Alright, so this beast only has 3 horns, but if you really break this down, 10 minus 7 equals 3. So I bet you they definitely have this verse in mind. Right? The beast I saw resembled a leopard. Leopards have spots, don't they? But had feet like those of a bear. Those, I mean, they don't look exactly like bear feet, but just the fact that they're big, that's enough evidence for me. And a mouth like that of a lion. The dragon gave the beast his power and his throne and great authority. So this ferocious beast, appearing gentle and kind, is actually Satan. Right? So going back to that 3, 7, and 10 symbolism, let's count the spots that we see in this picture. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Alright? So even though he doesn't have 10 horns or 7 heads, you still see quite a bit of symbolism around those numbers. Even if you look at this picture, how many spots in this picture? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, right? So always falling under one of those 3 numbers. And then if you count his teeth, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So not 666, one number short, but 66 is another symbolic number, 66 being the year that the Church of Satan was founded. So quite a bit of subtle symbolism hidden in this beast character. Rugrats. I'm sure many of you are familiar with this show. I was quite surprised to see some of the symbolism that was hidden in this show. And this was another show I was not allowed to watch. So taking a close look at Chucky Finster, one of the main characters in the show, you notice he's wearing a shirt that has what looks like Saturn on the front, right? But when you capture this shirt in the playpen, it has quite a deep symbolism to it. Check it out. When faced right side up, very close resemblance to the seal of Saturn, a very embraced occult symbol for Saturn worshippers, people who practice magic, all these things. And just for reference, that's what the playpen looks like. Right, so they were very intentional about this. What else do we see? A checkered floor in, I guess that's the kitchen. What's the significance of a checkered floor? A Masonic lodge, right? Very common in Freemasonry. Also the checkered pants on this parent here. Goes back to that same idea. And you can't get more blunt than this. Angelica, another one of the characters on the show, is shown here wearing a shirt that says "Hail Satan" as she flashes the devil's horns. Like, how could something as blunt as this be put into a kid's show without question? It's crazy. That's Nickelodeon. Let's move on to Walt Disney. All right. So first of all, Walt Disney's logo should be very familiar. We looked at this a little bit in episode 2. Throughout the logo, you can make the figure of 3 6s, so more 666 symbolism. Even if you take out the Walt, though, you can still make the case for 3 6s within the logo. So again, just from the logo itself, you can tell that this channel, this company, has very dark motives. So let's take a closer look. So here are a few examples that may have gotten past the average eye. The Illuminati written on this chalkboard back here. Got this eyesight sign, ask about Illuminati. Got Goofy with a skateboard, more eye symbolism, and this is pretty self-explanatory. Lion King, if you emphasize some of these lines, doesn't really look like a lion's mouth, does it? Kind of looks like something else. And what appears to be Minnie Mouse's body from a far distance is actually something else close up. So first of all, it's worth noting that Walt Disney was a Freemason, right? 33rd degree Mason at that. So you see plenty symbolism of that. Club 33 in Disneyland. Alright. The Art of Disney with what looks like Mickey Mouse's head, right? 666 again. And you see here numerous examples of symbols embraced by the Illuminati. Devil's horns, devil's horns, devil's horns. One eye symbolism, right? Devil's horns again. So now for that other character I was telling you about. Another popular character that has a high case of Masonic symbolism. Mickey Mouse. Check it out. Moon symbolism, moon worship, etc. Master Mason being one of the highest degrees, of course. So this is a trend we'll see throughout this video. Creators of shows and of companies are often portraying themselves in the characters of the shows. The ears, you can form 2 3s, 33rd degree.
The leader of the club that's made for you and me. M-I-C-K-U-S-M-O-U-S-E. M-I-C-K-U-S-M-O-U-S-E. Forever let us hold our banner high and the time to join the generation.
The answer is yes. Yes, Mickey Mouse is a Freemason. So it has been the case for decades, right, of this Illuminati, Freemason, Satanic symbolism in Disney. Here's an animation going all the way back to 1929, right? One of those mini cartoons called Hell's Bells, where the devil invites a bunch of demons and has a party. So I just put that there to show you that it's been the case to promote the satanic ideals for a very long time within the Disney company. The Owl House, fairly new show on Disney Channel. The Owl House, which made its debut on Disney Channel on January 10th, 2020, follows a teen who stumbles upon a portal to a magical realm, befriends a rebellious witch, UTHA, and a tiny warrior king, and consequently pursues her dream of becoming a witch by serving as UTHA's apprentice. So I don't know why witchcraft is being promoted in children's shows, but that's the sad reality. Many are claiming that the cartoon is advocating for kids to become witches and warlocks. 1 million moms even started a petition to warn parents about the contents of the show and urging Disney to take it down. But it is important to note that Disney has incorporated magical forces into its content for years. For example, Wizards of Waverly Place, Dr. Facilier from Princess and the Frog, Twitches, Chernabog from Fantasia, and more. So while many want Disney to cancel this show, given the company's history with magic and witchcraft in their programming, it doesn't look like the cartoon will be leaving Disney Channel at all. So you go after this show, you're pretty much going after the entirety of Disney Channel, right? I hope you're starting to see the true motives of this channel as a whole. So here are some of the characters that make an appearance on the Owl House. The show made history by featuring the first bisexual lead character of Disney Channel. And check this out, the artist and director, who identifies as bisexual herself, continued, "I'm bi, I want to write a bi character," right? So just because these creators of these shows, right, are satanic, gay, illuminati, masonic, that doesn't give them permission to literally force their ideals on kids, but you see that's what they're doing, right? So what else we got here? Emperor Belos, a witch, bug demons, puppeteer demon, got a house with legs, so again, that spontaneous generation idea. Moving on to That's So Raven, another show I was not allowed to watch. I'm sure you can figure out why. Raven Baxter is a high school student who has a secret psychic ability which allows her to experience visions of future events in short flashes. For example,
Ray, just hang up and go tell them the truth. They'll understand.
Not if they told me how proud they were of me. No way. Okay, to them, I'm the new Raven. And the new Raven doesn't mess up.
So, what's the new Raven gonna do?
Well, I guess I'm just gonna have to go to Petrocelli, talk to him, no parents, one-on-one.
Go get your mother. Today!
Okay, that didn't go too well. I want my mommy.
So what's the overall idea here? Foretelling, psychics, astrology, right? Only God can know the future, right? It's not up to us humans to determine what happens next, right? We sure don't have that ability. And finally, let's move on to Cartoon Network. So first of all, the logo, Cartoon Network. What does that look like that we've seen already? A Masonic Lodge, right? That checkered design idea featured right in the logo. Alright, so we're going to look at a couple shows starting with Cow and Chicken. Red Guy, originally introduced in the show as the devil, but later they renamed him to Red Guy, the main antagonist of the show, who is frequently harassing Cow and Chicken and the other characters on the show to do various acts. And as you can see from the picture, he is always naked, always showing his butt, and he has no problem doing so, right? So even nudity is making its way onto these shows, without question. Red Guy's servant or associate is Cerberus, a three-headed dog. And what's the significance of that? Cerberus is also the watchdog of the underworld. Adventure Time. This is a very popular show on Cartoon Network. But guess what? The show is loaded. I'm telling you, loaded with adult humor. Let's look at a few examples. From the episode We Fixed a Truck. Looks like a Valentine's Day episode. Various candies, right, forming up. And you know how you have those heart candies that say hug me, kiss me? No. This candy says tug me. Just think for a second about the significance of that phrase. Moving on, the creeps. Lumpy Space Princess and her boyfriend Brad have split. Meanwhile, throughout the whole episode, Lady Rainicorn is sucking people up into her body as some sort of weird Lady Rainicorn prank. After she gets Lumpy Space Princess into her body, Lumpy Space Princess is suddenly ready for Brad. Check it out.
I'm ready for you now, Brad. Isn't it obvious? I'm so ready.
Ready for something that kids shouldn't be doing, right? Moving on.
I'm ready.
Alright, here's one of the characters from the show, Tree Trunks. He likes to bake. He's known for his apple pie recipe, and in one of the episodes he said, "If you want a taste of my juicy apple pie, you better be nice." Got that? It doesn't sound like something you'd say when offering somebody apple pie. Anyway, moving on. From the episode Henchmen, Finn is given the duty of ransacking the Duke of Nuts' castle. And in some dialogue that these two characters have, Finn says, "My boss is going to sack your castle," and the Duke responds and said, "Why would you want to sack my nut castle?" That should be pretty self-explanatory. The episode To Cut a Woman's Hair, an ugly tree witch asks Finn and Jake to get Princess Hair to help cure her baldness and make her beautiful. With Princess Bubblegum as his target, he decides to have a spaghetti dinner with her as a date to romance her. So throughout the evening, Finn gets pretty freaky, to say the least, with his conversation, saying things like, "Put your butt here," and "Shove this in your mouth, it's hot," right? Princess Potluck. As Finn starts to go into a huge bounce house, he realizes it's also a princess. Spontaneous generation again. But check this out. After he apologizes for almost walking inside her, she makes a proposition.
Bounce house! Come on, Jake! Bounce, bounce! Oh! Huh? Oh, hi, Finn! Oh, my goodness. Sorry, Bounce House Princess. I didn't know it was you.
Oh, that's okay. You want to go inside? Bounce around for a little?
That's okay.
This is not getting any better, folks. Adult humor is all over this show. From the episode I Remember You, Ice King's favorite thing to do is to capture princesses, tie them up, and force them into marrying him. And he acts like this isn't a specific or problematic interest of his. Here he gets tangled up and doesn't exactly try to escape.
You know, I kind of like being tied up in these cords. Kind of freaky.
Yep. And from bad to worse, conversation between Jake and Lady Rainicorn, who are a couple throughout the show.
Sorry about biting you, sugar.
난 네가 깨물어지는 거 좋아.
Oh. Sorry about
From the episode Holly Jolly Secrets Part 1, this is BMO, Finn and Jake's gaming console. Check this out.
Okay, you can play this, right, BMO?
Yes, Finn. It goes in my butt.
Oh.
This is so exciting.
And King Zergiak, not sure how you say that, has an obvious obsession.
It's bacon time! Yeah! Yeah! Yeah!
I hope I've made my point. Plenty of adult humor / fetishes / sexual content, stuff that is not appropriate for kids in the least sense, but not being avoided, just put in to these shows without question. And again, looking at some of the show's characters: Tree Witch, Marceline, who is a vampire, Peppermint Butler, who is an occultist and exorcist. So in a couple of episodes I've talked about Aleister Crowley, a British occultist, magic practitioner, who literally called himself the Beast 666, and his famous phrase was "do what thou wilt." Believe it or not, that phrase made it into the show with a slight adaptation.
Come to you? No.
Oh, I see. You're being weird.
It's not that weird, come on.
Do what thou will be the whole piece of law.
Moen.
And last video for Adventure Time, there's a reference to dimethyltryptamine, which is a psychedelic drug.
It's okay. I'm sure the solution is on my bulleted list! Don't worry, I have everything under control.
Under control? My guests are terrified!
Yes! And their brains are releasing adrenaline, dopamine, even dimethyltryptamine from the pineal gland! This has serious education.
And it's okay for kids to use drugs when? Guys, this is ridiculous.
It's okay.
Alright, moving on to the Garfield show. So, obviously, started out as a comic and later on became an animation. But there were some very dark motives behind this animation for Cartoon Network. First of all, Minerva is one of the characters, Minerva being the goddess of wisdom, war, and crafts. Various Halloween episodes appeared on this show. Various appearances of witches, zombies, and check this out. This house next to the house where Garfield and Odie and John live, red and blue and purple symbolism, right? So going back to what we've been talking about since the beginning of the series, red and blue duality, the duality of occult symbolism. And in this episode, I'll just play it and let it speak for itself.
Oh, hello. I didn't see you there. Oh, it's okay, come on, man. You're not disturbing anything. I was just sitting here, controlling the weather.
Controlling the weather. Only God can do that. So, plenty of dark ideals and motives on this Garfield show. So in conclusion, if you're a parent raising a child, if you're going to have a child in the future, if you are a child that just happens to be watching this, or if you have a cousin, nephew, right? If you're somehow related to a young person under the age of, let's say, 18, this video was for you, right? Kids shows, in very many instances, as we've seen in this video, are not shows for kids, right? You see how creators of these shows are occultists, Satanists, Freemasons, bisexual, gay, right? And they reflect their character in these shows. And as we saw in the beginning of this episode, TV has a lot of effect on your subconscious. So little by little, the more kids watch these shows, the more they'll embrace and even put into practice what they watch. So please, if you're raising a child, have close relations to a child, gonna have a child in the future, please be careful about what these children watch. This is our next generation coming up. And I say that as a young person. But our upcoming generation needs to be raised well, right? There's a lot of dark motives out here. And going back to Philippians 4:8, our children need to be dwelling on things that are pure, that are noble, that are trustworthy, that are of a good report. So be you an adult, a child, or somewhere in between, I hope these last 2 episodes have shown you really what's going on behind the scenes in the television industry and how these creators are really trying to affect our subconscious and ultimately draw us away from Jesus Christ. So be careful and be vigilant. I'll see you guys next time.